Hey folks, go away. Yeah, so I've been staying away from Trump news. You know, I come back to what Paul talks about. It was at 1 Corinthians 13 about love, where he says, if you don't have love, you're nothing but a noisy gong or a crashing cymbal. And that's kind of how I'm feeling about him recently. My daughter, she's visiting from Shelburne. And she asked me, she said, did you hear what Trump said about the Haitians? And I said, no. And so she told me. I'm sure you're aware, on the southern border, there's a buildup of Haitian migrants. After the earthquake, conditions in Haiti deteriorated, and many, many, many thousands of people are trying to seek refuge in the United States to get out of that place, to get out of that situation. They're looking for a better life. Trump, on the Sean Hannity show on Fox, well, he checked all the fear-mongering boxes. Illegal migrants, Haitians, or, whichever other foreigner you happen to be most afraid of in the moment. And AIDS. These people coming across the border, statistically speaking, are rife with disease. AIDS. He's saying that these Haitians coming across, many of them have AIDS. Now, and he also went on to do his whole shtick about how foreign governments are emptying their prisons and sending them to the U.S., and they're doing this and they're doing that. I'm not going to argue with any of that. Not going to argue with any of that. As a matter of fact, today, what I want you to do is I want you to accept that what Donald Trump said on the Sean Hannity show about Haitians coming across the border into the United States, all having AIDS, I want you to accept that that is true. Not only true, fact. A large percentage of those immigrants seeking refuge in the United States have AIDS, or at least some other disease. Now, the thing to remember, though, and we got to be clear on this, is let's keep in mind that if those people are coming from a foreign country into our country, into Canada, into the United States, into Australia, into Great Britain, into wherever you happen to be, it is not because they are there for malicious intent. They did not decide for themselves, you know what, we got a good life in our country, we're prosperous, we're abundant, but I think we need to go and ruin somebody's life in Ohio. We need to go and steal somebody's job in Tennessee. We need to go and make somebody's life miserable in Texas. That's not the intent. The intent is they are trying to get out of a really bad situation. And they're coming to places that they think can offer them a respite from the lives that they were leading. They're coming to a place where they think they can get the help that they believe they need. In the Gospels, Jesus tells the story of the Good Samaritan. And in that story, he says a fellow is going down the road, and this fellow, as he's going down the road, robbers jump him, they beat him, they attack him, they leave him in the ditch, naked, bloody, and poor. They take everything that he has and they leave him there to die. Jesus goes on to say that two other people walk past. First guy walks past, sees the guy in the ditch, realizes that if I touch him, I'm going to become unclean. And I just don't want the hassle of that. I don't want to be unclean. I don't want to have to wash. I don't want to have to make the sacrifice. I don't want to have to stay, be isolated. I'm late for my meetings as it is, so I'm just going to go. I'm just going to ignore what I've seen here and move on. Maybe I'll say a prayer. Second guy comes along, same kind of feeling. He might be dead. He might be alive. Can't take the risk. If I touch him and he's dead, then I'm unclean and all that other stuff. So he goes on. Third guy, Jesus says, is a Samaritan. A non-Jew. A person that the Jewish people of that day would consider that they are living outside of God's love. A Gentile. A non-believer. And this Gentile gets off his donkey, goes down, picks the guys up, puts the guy on his donkey, patches him up a little bit, he walks on, gets to a town, puts the guy up in an inn, rents the room, has the food brought to him, tells the inn owner, here's some money. Whatever is left afterwards, coming back through in a couple days, I will pay the balance, but take care of this guy. Make sure he's fed, make sure that he's taken care of, and he heals. I don't want him to die. I want to help him. And I'll pay you for it. So this idea of Donald Trump's that Haitians are coming across the border and they've all got AIDS, and it's a death wish for our country. It is the wrong attitude to have as Christians, even if he's right. See, even if he's right that he's saying that these people are coming across the border and they have AIDS, the Christian response is not to protect our borders, to keep people out, to keep those people out. That is not the Christian response. That's what those first two fellows did in Jesus' story. They protected themselves. They kept that man, that sick, needy man, at bay. They didn't want to go through the discomfort. They didn't want to have to deal with his issues. They didn't want the frustration of being ceremonially unclean. They wanted their life just to keep moving in the direction that it was moving. They didn't want the inconvenience that helping that man would have caused. Jesus says this is not the right response, because he upholds the Samaritan as the one who truly loved his neighbor. He says it's the Samaritan that did the right thing. And the Samaritan, God bless him, didn't just get in the ditch and help the guy. He put the guy on his mule or horse or whatever it was that he was using, and he took him to an inn, and he paid to have this person looked after. And then when he came back through, the implication is that he would have paid the innkeeper for whatever balance was remaining. He made sure that this person who was dying in the ditch was looked after. That, Jesus says, is the Christian response. So, closing the border, protecting ourselves, keeping those people out, not Jesus' way. As a matter of fact, even opening our border and saying, please come in, isn't necessarily Jesus' way, though it is significantly closer. No, see, if Donald Trump is right that these people are all diseased, and they're coming into this America, and they're coming into our countries to bring that disease, and it's going to bring death and destruction upon us, the true Christian response is to take what we have and go to them. The true Christian response is to get off of our horse and to get into the ditch. The true Christian response is to get our hands dirty, to help them where they are, and then to take them to where they need to be. The true Christian response is not to protect. It is not to keep at bay. It is not to build walls. It is to take what we have and to share it where the people who need it are. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord's face be made to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord's countenance be lifted up to you. May you always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. And I pray that you and I pray we will grow to be bold enough to practice this kind of response within our communities, within our provinces, our states, our countries, and within the world. That we will take what we have, and that we will share it with people where they are. Amen. Nemultus.